You can watch the best parts of this series at MedCircle.com.
It takes courage to admit that you have a problem and need help. Encina Severa, who is living with dissociative identity disorder and other mental health conditions, has that courage and did just that. In 2019, she admitted herself to an inpatient psychiatric hospital. This is the story of her journey.
Encina, we just finished filming. How do you feel?
Good, really good.
Feel good.
Yeah.
Is any of this therapeutic for you, or is it a struggle?
I mean, in general, my life is a struggle right now,
Yes.
but being able to do these videos is definitely therapeutic in a way of knowing that I'm getting a message out there for other people, and I'm doing my best to kill stigmas and to prove to people that even though some things can be scary, like you can still fight for yourself and you can still get the help that you need.
Listening to you explain about being in a psychiatric hospital for 8 days was equal parts fascinating, eye-opening, heart-wrenching, and also motivating. It really encompasses so many emotions. How would you explain your 8-day stay at the psychiatric hospital?
It was really, really hard, but it was worth it. It was worth it because it showed me where I needed to go afterwards. And it showed me that I did need that therapy afterwards. So being in the outpatient hospital program thing that I'm doing right now, it's great. It's something that I need. And that's actually, I'm gonna be doing that for 6 weeks. So.
Let's give the viewers a little taste of what led up to you making the choice to admit yourself into the hospital.
So my whole life I've been struggling with, depression, anxiety, and so many other things, CPTSD, and I was going through so much, and then I had another life-altering event happen that completely just tore my world apart, flipped it upside down, and kind of punted it across the field. Like it was so hectic for me and so unmanageable and unbearable to where I knew that I needed some kind of help. My first instinct was I need to go to my psychiatrist. We need to change my meds. We need to figure out a different kind of medication that's going to work for me. She wasn't available it was going to be up to like 2 months that I was going to be able to see her. And I was like, I can't do that. I need help now. And it was really, really late at night. So I was like, well, nothing's open right now other than inpatient hospitals. So I told my friend, I need to go to the hospital. And she was like, well, if you're gonna go, this is the one that I did a nursing rotation there. And she was like, this was a really good one. I would recommend this one. So that's where I went.
And what did it feel like that first night in your room, knowing that you had voluntarily decided to take this path?
So leading up to it, I was just so numb. But it wasn't until I was actually like laying in bed trying to fall asleep when all of my thoughts started coming back and I started becoming more aware that I was like, oh wow, I'm actually here. This is real. Like this time is happening right now. You are in this situation, and my anxiety started to flood. So it was very, very stressful at first.
You may think that being in a psychiatric hospital just means a rotation of medications and one-on-one therapy, medications, one-on-one therapy, but there's actually a variety of therapy, at least at the hospital Encina was at. Here's a sneak peek of some of the therapy and treatment sessions she participated in.
That next day, you start going to your groups, and you make sure you bring your paper with you, so the leader of the group can like sign off on it, whether it's a therapist or just somebody who's there just to like lead the group. And the groups consisted of things like arts and crafts. We could color, we could draw. They were all kind of like broken up though. So one of the groups would be like all about coloring or drawing. There'd be ones where they'd specifically give you like, okay, we're gonna draw like a mandala, and we're gonna like practice making our own and what it means to you. And like they'd give examples of what a mandala was.
What is a mandala?
So it's basically just like, I mean, I have a hard time explaining it, but they're beautiful, like round shapes that I think monks would use like to make like sand out of. Like it would take them days, I think like maybe even months to make these things, or like some crazy time. I could be wrong, don't quote me on the time, but they would take their hand and slowly draw with different colored sand, like these beautiful fractal-like shapes, just these like beautiful shapes. And then once they were done, they would sweep it away. And it was just kind of like their way of saying like, we're making something beautiful, but we can make something else beautiful. Like we can get rid of this one and make something else. Like we're still creating, we're still like growing, and you know, it's to not become attached to certain things. And so we were just basically drawing our own mandalas.
Out of all the treatments you participated in, which was the treatment you found the most helpful?
I loved guided meditation stuff. I loved the aromatherapy. The ones that we're doing right now in my outpatient center, they actually do like Tai Chi as well. And I just love the movement, and I love being active in some way. So guided meditation, obviously, you're usually sitting there, or you're doing body scans to make sure that you're as relaxed as you can be and stuff. And I just like having that, I guess, that partnership where with a guided meditation, you have someone telling you how to relax, how to get into it, and how to like focus on your body parts and things like that. And then with Tai Chi, you're watching somebody who's doing Tai Chi, and you're kind of doing it with other people together.
So what do you think are some common misconceptions people have about a psych hospital?
I think it's just the fear of it. You know, you don't want people to know that you went there. You don't want people to know. And it's not just for people with mental health issues. It's people who have tried committing suicide. It's for people who are actually like going through detox and stuff like that. Like I was surrounded by all kinds of people going through their own stuff that they were trying to heal from. And it's just kind of like everybody going through it together. So the biggest thing for me is it's just scary, and you don't want to talk about it, and you don't want people to know, and you think that people are going to judge you. You think you're not going to get a job because of it. You think you're not going to like land a relationship because of it. Like, but if you're fighting for your own health in general, mind, body, soul, like you're fighting for all of that, like you should never be ashamed for it.
Well said. What will viewers get after watching your series?
Hopefully more hope. Like
yes.
I'm hoping to just give as much hope and
hoping for hope.
Yeah, and options, and like just letting people know like there are options.
Aren't there
out
though?
There.
So many.
It's out there.
So many.
And you just got to find the options that work for you.
That is a point driving home as much as possible, because just because you go to one therapy session, or you try one therapy, or even one medication, or one doctor, and it doesn't work, doesn't mean all of it doesn't work.
Exactly.
It just means that one thing that you tried didn't work.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yep.
So you hope that they will get hope. What did you get from doing the series? Not from going to the psych hospital, but from doing the series.
I'm getting hope on my own, like doing this. Like it's so special for me being able to have this opportunity. So again, thank you guys, like seriously, being able to know that I can be this mental health advocate that I feel like I can be, and I feel like I am. I want to be there for other people, and I want to share my story, because I do feel like I've gone through a lot, and I do feel like I have experiences that can help other people. And if I can help other people, then I feel like I'm helping myself as well.
Yeah. Perfectly said. Perfectly. I love that. I want to thank you publicly for being so brave to sit down and share the details of your journey. Because I know that they have already helped millions of people, and they will continue to help so many people learn that they're not alone, that there is hope, and it starts with the education that you're providing, that personal education. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Encina, I thought, had an incredibly beautiful and touching moment at the end of the series, and I want to share that with all of you guys watching right now. Let's take a look at this. What would the Encina sitting here today, who has the d.i.d. diagnosis, the ADHD diagnosis, OCD, CPTSD, anxiety, major depressive with mixed features, among other things, who's gone through multiple therapists, multiple psychiatrists, who's gone through an 8-day voluntary hospitalization for mental health, what would she say to the 10-year-old Encina?
Keep going. Just keep fighting. You're gonna find that help. The road's gonna be hard, but you've got this.
I love it. We'll end it there. Thank you guys for watching. And Encina said it perfectly. Whatever you're going through, you got this. Thanks for watching. Your next step is to go to MedCircle.com and finish watching this series. There you can also access other series and get actionable advice and simple explanations. Continue your mental health journey at MedCircle.com, and I'll see you there.